Marshall, I'm looking at
It's the most wonderful time of the year. The World Cup is here. Welcome to the Box Score Quest for the Cup. I'm your host, Sam DeCoste, and I'll be joined by some top football experts to bring you the Box Scores preview of the greatest show on earth, the 2022 FIFA Men's World Cup. The tournament kicks off on November 20th. It will take place in Qatar, where the world will be watching for the next month to see who will win football's greatest prize. And we start by taking a peek at the FIFA Men's World Rankings. Take a look at the top 10 ranked teams in the world based on FIFA's point system. Brazil, the 5-time winners, lead off the rankings at number 1, followed by Belgium, Argentina, and the reigning world champions, France. England sit at 5, Italy at 6, but don't pay attention to the Italians. They did not qualify for this year's World Cup. Rounding out the top 10 are Spain, the Netherlands, Portugal, and Denmark. Now let's bring out our Quest for the Cup team. I'm now joined on stage by Kyle Bracco, Ashley Osmecki, and Nandan Nair to break down the top 10 teams in the world before the World Cup. Kyle, beginning with Brazil, the odds-on favorites to win the whole thing. Do you think that sounds about right?
I think that sounds very right. I think on paper, they are the most complete team in the tournament. I think they have everything. They have elite talent at every single position and depth to back up that talent. They're ready to weather a month-long tournament.
Ashley, what about you?
I think that Brazil has what it takes. I think that they might lack a little bit of the chemistry on the pitch, but I think that they have the midfield.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Nandan.
I think they've been really solid so far. You know, in qualifying, they were unbeaten. I think 14 games, 3 draws, 40 goals for, 5 against. Incredible record. I think they're going a lot of attacking talent. I think Neymar, Vinicius, Antony, Martinelli. So honestly, I think they are one of the odds-on favorites. It's just a question of, can they make it happen? They were the favorites last year. They got dumped out by Belgium. So it's more of a matter of, it's there, can they take it?
Now, one player that we have to look out for if Brazil win the World Cup is number 10. It's Neymar. He's going to have to be the star of the show. But 4 years ago, you may remember, he spent 14 minutes on the ground, rolling around. That can't happen. The lure of Neymar seems to have diminished. They don't want him to be a clown on the ground. They want him to be banging in the goals, leading Brazil to victory. Is he capable of doing that on this stage?
I think he is. I think it's going to help a lot that he has more attacking talent around him.
You can see on the screen right now.
Yeah, as you can see on the screen right now, he's got Vinicius, he's got Rafinha, and he's got Richarlison, as well as somebody like Martinelli on the bench. So he's going to have a lot more people occupying defenders, and then busters like Fabinho and Casemiro doing a lot of that work behind him while he's just trying to create and less so trying to create his own shot, and he won't be rolling around as much, most likely.
Now, Nandan, I look at that midfield. I see 2 stars in the world at holding midfield, but they're not in form, either of them. Liverpool and Man United are really struggling, and those 2 are a part of that.
Yeah, I believe, I believe Fabinho in particular, he's not the player he was a year or 2 ago. Casemiro, in my opinion, I believe Casemiro has been doing quite well at Man United. If you remember, he scored the equalizer at Chelsea a couple weeks ago. So he's doing really well. I think that midfield is going to be crucial to this Brazil team because if they're really going to get that ball to Neymar, to Richarlison, to all those attacking players, they need Casemiro and Fabinho to be at their best.
Ashley, what do you see coming from Vinicius? He's going to have to take a huge step in his career, and he's going to be maybe Brazil's best attacking threat in the World Cup. How do you think he'll pan at the World Cup?
I think that they need to make sure that they feed him the ball. I think that he really is so hungry, and I think he can find the back of the net so well. I think Alex Telles is going to be a big plug in this team too. He runs up the side of the pitch really great, and he feeds the ball in very well. So I'm excited to see him go.
And also Gabriel Jesus, one of the most informed strikers in the world right now, banging in the goals for Arsenal. This team is so deep, he might not even make the play-in. Not to mention his relationship with Chiche is really falling down the toilet.
You know, it's sad to see. I think he's playing so well for Arsenal, and it'll be a bummer, but I think Tite really, really values Pedro, who's really playing well right now in Brazil for Fluminense.
Let's move on to the reigning world champions, France. They're hoping to become the first team since 1962 to repeat as World Cup champions. And France expected to line up in Qatar not quite the same as how they lined up 4 years ago. But Nandan, over to you first about France. This team in the midfield especially is going to struggle without Paul Pogba and N'Golo Kanté.
Yes, and if you'll remember back in 2018 when they won the World Cup, Pogba and Kanté were instrumental. If you look at it, Kanté was that defensive player that cleaned up the attack, which gave Pogba more freedom to move around, make chances. So I believe them 2 being gone is a big miss. They do have talents in terms of Aurélien Tchouameni, but I believe he's still a bit too young to have that World Cup winning quality. So I think France is really going to struggle in that department.
Now, Ashley, one player that was not in Russia 4 years ago that will be in Qatar, Karim Benzema. Fresh off his Ballon d'Or win, what impact will he make in the World Cup?
I think that he's France's only hope, really. I think that with that hole in the midfield, Benzema, and with Benzema's strength right now, I think that he is really going to be the leading force behind France and how far that they do get.
Benzema is a little banged up right now, though, which is a big, big concern. And I think if if the goals are only coming from Kylian Mbappe, then this team is going to be really one-dimensional with a guy like Mbappe that needs to get behind versus somebody like Benzema who can really, really draw in defenders and make space for somebody.
I actually really want to touch on something real quick on that topic. If you remember last season with Real Madrid, Karim Benzema, for a long time now, Madrid fans haven't really been giving him a lot of attention. He was in the shadow of Benzema, of Bale and Ronaldo, and last year he dragged them through single-handedly to the Champions League title, and that restored his relationship with the French fans, with the Real Madrid fans. So I think at this World Cup, we see a similar scenario with a struggling French squad. I think if Benzema can show up and really bring this team through, it can really change the narrative around him.
The big question is fitness.
Yeah. Now, it would be remiss of us to not discuss the champion's curse. Winning the World Cup tends to mean you flop in the next tournament. And for France, a few years ago when they won the World Cup in 1998, they crashed in the group stage. 4 years ago, Germany won the World Cup. They crashed in the group stage. Same thing happened to Spain. Before that, it was Italy. You could take a look on the screen. Look at the results. When you win the World Cup, it usually means you fall on the group stage. Can France buck this trend and at least make it out of the group? And could they even win the World Cup? What do you guys think?
No, I absolutely do not think so. This is not the team we saw in 2018. I was looking at some math. At least 10 players from their 2018 squad will not be there. And from their starting lineup, Kanté is not there, Pogba's not there, Varane, questionable.
Well, as Tweedy was part of that midfield 4 years ago, he's not in this team anymore either. They have a lot of big impact players that are not going to be in this roster. There could be as many as 15 players that played in Russia that will not be on the plane to Qatar.
France are going to be very hit and miss. It's going to have to be these young players like Camavinga, like Chouameni, that are going to have to really step up, like William Saliba too, with Varane, who's also beat up, probably going to go, but beat up. So it's going to be a big question of, are these young players going to really ascend on this big stage, or are they going to crumble under the pressure?
And Argentina and Portugal are also among the heavyweights to win this year's World Cup. In all likelihood, this will be the last time we see Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo play on football's biggest stage. They've each played in 4 World Cups, but the results have been middle of the pack. You can see right here, Argentina came close in 2014, losing in the final. Portugal came as close as the semifinals in 2006, but this year is almost certainly Messi and Ronaldo's last shots at winning the World Cup. Ashley, between these two sides, which team is likelier to win it all?
I think that Portugal is hungrier. I think that they're going to go farther.
Really?
Yes, I do. I think that they have that really strong back line, and that midfield is so strong right now with Bernardo Silva and Bruno Fernandes together. I think makes a beautiful, beautiful combination.
The question is Ronaldo going to be a problem on the field, both in the locker room and on the field? He's getting up there.
He's the most toxic player that's going to be in Qatar right now. He's the guy that has a Samsung in a green group chat. He's that level of toxic right now.
I think Mbappe is a close second.
But if you're Portugal, do you want him leading the line?
I don't. I think that Portugal, it's all going to, especially because Diogo Jota is not going to this World Cup, which is a big, big miss because that's somebody that can really link a lot of these players together. Rafael Leao is going to be the one that has to lead this line because Ronaldo simply cannot play every single one of these games at 37 years old if Portugal want to win this whole thing. It's going to have to come down to Leao.
I think that Joao Cancelo is going to be a huge plug in this game too. I keep mentioning Portugal's back line, but I have full faith in them.
Now, Nandan, Argentina have not lost a game in 3 years. They have a 35-game unbeaten streak. If they go 2 games more undefeated, that is the record internationally with Italy back a while ago. Do you think that they can? Are they likely to win than Portugal? What say you?
I 100% think Argentina is a much stronger team and more likely to go through. I think this is one of the strongest Argentina teams we've seen in a long time. I think especially in 2018, it was a transition period where a lot of the old guard was going out. They underperformed. But now they've got that perfect mix of a lot of young players, Leandro Paredes, Rodrigo de Paul, Emi Martinez, a lot of new guys that have come in, but they built it around Leo Messi, who is still in incredible form. So I think, honestly, I believe this Argentina team has everything it takes to win this World Cup.
It has to be Messi's greatest ever supporting cast at the international level, doesn't it?
Yeah, even without Paulo Dybala, I think Alvarez and Lautaro Martinez with him are perfectly suited to play.
Angel Di Maria as well.
Angel Di Maria as well. Papu Gomez still up there in years, but still really running the midfield. I think this team is perfectly suited for a guy like Messi to just be on the ball, run the game, and do his thing and find his little moments of brilliance.
We're going to head to commercial now, but don't go anywhere because when we come back, we're previewing some of the best groups at the World Cup, who's going to make it out of the group stage, and who's going home early. And the question on everyone's mind, is it coming home? All that and more after the break. You're watching The Box Score, Quest for the Cup.
I'm gonna kill Bill.
What? Oh! Okay, cutting. Sorry, can we get some of this?
Where in God's name is the gaffer's tape?
Hi, I'm Nate.
And I'm Casey, and we're the National Broadcasting Society.
Come out to some of our weekly workshops or work on some of our sets.
Explore the bigger picture with NBS.
We'll see you there.
All right, let's get another take. Camera, sound.
So yeah, it's like Emerson's very own late night talk show. We've got games like Jimmy Fallon, and we're hot like Jimmy Kimmel, and we've got guests. I'm gonna talk to them. You can talk too, I guess. There's a live studio audience, and they're just gonna laugh at everything we say, and it's gonna be awesome. It's just this never-ending cycle of positivity and community and late night content. I'm gonna wear a suit. You should probably wear one too. What do you think?
I think you should drink up, because it's closing time.
Welcome back to the Box Score Quest for the Cup. I'm your host, Sam DeCoste, now joined by Kyle Bracco, and now introducing Connor Donovan and Vivian Nguyen. Let's preview some of the groups in the World Cup, beginning with Group E, which features two of the last three World Cup winners, Spain and Germany. They'll meet in the group stage, as well as Costa Rica and Japan. Connor, over to you first. Who do you think's going to win this group?
Honestly, Sam, I like Germany to win this group a lot better. I just think they're a more complete team as a whole than Spain are. And I think that there's a lot of talent in this Germany side that's on the outside looking in still at this World Cup squad. Also, one of the best managers in world football with Hansi Flick. I think the Germans are in for something special this tournament.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with Connor there. They just have so much more depth and talent than Spain does. You know, even looking at their attack, they've got Sane, they've got Leroy Sane, they've got Serge Gnabry, they've got Jamal Musiala, and like their midfield is stacked. So I'm expecting that they're going to win this group for sure.
I don't know, but I think that Germany has a real problem with knocking in the goals, especially now that Timo Werner isn't coming. He misses so much. He missed the World Cup altogether. I think that there's going to be problems for both teams with knocking in the goals. And I think in this group, we really, really have to watch out for a team like Japan, who are very sneaky in a one-off game. And I think this is a prime group for one of these big teams like Spain and Germany to not even make it to the group stage. Make it to the knockout stage.
Now, here's a question. Where will the goals come from in this group? We have Spain, who are going to have Alvaro Morata leading the line, and Germany's top dog, Timo Werner, will not play in the tournament. And then you have Costa Rica and Japan. There's not a lot of goal-scoring threats in this group. What do you guys think?
Well, I think that, honestly, Germany do have some of those goal-scoring threats in their lineup. I think Leroy Sané and Serge Gnabry, both on the wings, are going to be electric again for Germany. One of them will probably come off the bench. Kai Havertz is finding a decent run of form again at Chelsea right now, finding form at the right time just before the World Cup.
Now, how significant is the Bayern connection with Hansi Flick? Because most of this roster are Bayern players.
Yeah, I think the Bayern connection that they have right now with Hansi Flick and all of those German Bayern players that are in the squad is phenomenal.
And don't forget about Musiala. All these people are talking about Pedri being the player of the tournament, but I really think Musiala could do just the same.
Yeah, don't forget about Thomas Muller either, because he has a history of always finding, a way to get into the net. So definitely somebody that I'm looking for.
That being said, for Spain, I really don't know how much they can rely on somebody like Morata. Always inconsistent throughout his entire career.
Now, Kyle, of the Costa Rica and Japan, which team is likelier to catch these two off?
I really think that Japan are dangerous in this World Cup. They are one of those teams that maybe they don't have a roster that jumps off the page when you look at it. However, they play together, they have a philosophy, they're well coached, and they can really, really do damage.
Not to mention we have two treble-winning managers in this group. We have Hansi Flick and Luis Enrique, two of the best managers in this group. It's going to be an exciting one to watch. Let's move on to Group A. Qatar, the tournament hosts, will kick off the tournament against Ecuador on November 20th. Also in the group, a couple of dark horses, Senegal and the Netherlands. Vivian, these two are some of the dark horses to win the whole thing. Do you think one of the latter can actually win the tournament?
Honestly, yeah, I do. I think, the Netherlands, they have a very balanced squad, and I think they've got a lot of potential there. They've got Louis van Gaal. He's got so much experience just coaching, and I think that's really going to help them.
And they're unbeaten since he took over again in the last 15 games. Now, Kyle, with the Netherlands, if Memphis Depay isn't banging the goals, who is for the Dutch?
I think we have to talk about Steven Bergwijn, who is a great player for Ajax. It didn't quite work out with him at Tottenham, but he's a very dynamic player that can do well in a World Cup type format, as well as Cody Gakpo, who I know is somebody that Connor is really high on.
Oh yeah, I am riding that Cody Gakpo train high right now, Sam. Cody Gakpo right now, the only player playing in Europe not named Neymar Jr. with more goal contributions this season than the Norwegian machine, Erling Haaland.
How about that nugget? All right, now, Connor, to you on Senegal. This might be the best African team in recent memory. This team is absolutely loaded. How far do you think they can go in this tournament?
Honestly, I see Senegal making a deep run in this tournament. I see them honestly challenging for a spot in the quarterfinals at this tournament. I think they have all the right keys to success. We've talked about it before. A great goalkeeper in Edouard Mendy between the pipes, a great prolific goal scorer in Sadio Mane off the wing, and a fantastic solidified center back in Kalidou Koulibaly.
And that's Mendy's teammate at Chelsea, so they have that club connection.
They have Idrissa Gueye in the midfield too, who's underrated. They can really link this team together. Although some Kouyaté too, who plays very well for Crystal Palace. This is an underrated squad, and I think also the fans are really going to be on the side of Senegal. And sometimes it just takes that little bit of magic to make a deep run, and I think they could go to the semifinals.
These are also the AFCON champions. They defeated Egypt on penalties in the AFCON final and in World Cup qualifying to actually clinch their spot in the World Cup. And if they make a deep run, they could become the first African team ever to make a World Cup semifinal. Does anybody on stage with me think they can do that?
Honestly, yes, Sam. I think they can. I think Senegal also, who is unmentioned already, have one of the most underrated managers in world football right now in Aliou Cisse. He hasn't gotten the credit that he's deserved for
Former player as well.
Exactly, and hasn't gotten the success that he deserved for his credit for winning the AFCON. Doesn't get this credit he deserved for putting them in this World Cup and winning that shootout over Egypt. So I think he just overall is just completely underrated.
And one last note on the Dutch, they're out for revenge. They finished third 8 years ago. They missed the World Cup 4 years ago. They're looking for a strong outing this time around.
Yeah, for sure. I think that they are definitely very capable of doing that. Even looking at their tournament bracket, there's a very feasible chance that they would be able to make it far. And so I expect that of them.
All right, our final group spotlight is going to be Group B. All eyes in this group are on England, the 5th-ranked team in the world. They'll face off against Iran, the United States, and Wales. Connor, is it coming home?
Absolutely not, no. It is not coming home until Gareth Southgate gets over his obsession with Harry Maguire. Maguire does not deserve to be around this England squad whatsoever over his last 2 years of form at Man United, and Southgate refuses to acknowledge the presence of Fikayo Tomori, who continues to dominate in the Serie A for AC Milan.
Yeah, no Tomori. I said no Tomori on the plane, no party. And same with James Maddison. These are good players that he's leaving out for his favorites that he's had for the last couple of years, and I just think it's not going to pay off at this World Cup.
It's simple. They don't play progressive enough football. However, that being said, in the last 2 big tournaments, they've made a semifinal and barely missed winning the Euros. So I think there is something to be said for a deep run. However, they're injured too. No Reece James, no Ben Chilwell. It's going to have to be probably Trent or Kieran Trippier at right back, which isn't ideal, or Luke Shaw at left back, again, isn't ideal. Harry Maguire and John Stones still from 4 years ago, despite bad form. In the center, I just don't think this team is fresh enough. However, I think Jude Bellingham could really be a bright spot for England.
Gareth Southgate, he's that teacher that plays favorites that nobody really likes to take his class for. Does that sound about right?
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Quickly on the U.S., how far can they go in this group? They should be the favorites to finish second, although they could get caught up by Wales or Iran in this group.
Wales are good. They could struggle. I think the U.S. are going to have to get hot. I think they're going to have to score early. Gio Reyna and Christian Pulisic can score. Josh Sargent is a question mark, but it's all down to the defense.
All right, we're heading to commercial one last time, but don't you go anywhere. Next up, we predict who will win the Golden Ball. Thiago Silva, Pedri, we'll tell you. You're watching the Box Score, Quest for the Cup.
Alright, come back in 10 seconds. Ready, camera 1. Camera 1, get a wide shot of the entire thing, and in 3, 2, 1, take talent cue.
Welcome back to Emerson College. Emerson
Camera
trails
4, get a shot of the players coming across the court.
10 seconds left. Emerson trails by 1
Camera too close on the person shooting.
Thanks, Joe. With 10 seconds left, Emerson is hoping to pull away and score this big one.
Camera 1 gonna close and follow them over.
Emerson trails WPI 10 points. 10 seconds left. Emerson trails by 1 point as the team finishes their timeout.
Camera 1 close up on number 33.
Thanks, Joe. With 10 seconds left, Emerson is hoping to pull away.
Follow the ball, follow the ball.
We're back. You're watching the Box Score Quest for the Cup. I'm your host, Sam DeCoste, joined by Connor Donovan, Vivian Nguyen, Ashley Osmecki, and Nandan Nair. It's time to play some Manila Mayhem. Here's how the game works. Here in my hands, I have 4 manila envelopes. Inside each envelope is a player expected to compete in this year's World Cup. Each correspondent will randomly select an envelope, and when they open their envelope, they will have to argue why their player will win the 2022 Golden Ball. Let's get started. Connor, you are up first. Have your pick.
Ooh, I think I'll take this nice one
One
right
at the
here.
end?
Yep.
All right.
in the middle.
There we go.
See it.
Nope, take it that one. Okay.
Oh, sorry.
Here you go.
Okay, thank you.
We've rehearsed this.
All right, so in my folder, I have Kevin De Bruyne. And I think that Kevin De Bruyne is going to win the Golden Ball at this World Cup because, honestly, he's been shortchanged in the last couple Ballon d'Or ceremonies. There hasn't been enough credit given to him. He's been one of the most consistent best players in the world for the last 3-4 years now. I don't think anybody in world football has been quite as consistent at a world-class level as Kevin De Bruyne.
Here's the thing, though. How much can you gauge that to his success? Because you look at that Man City team, it is incredible. When you have Erling Haaland up there, I think you could put Adrian Rabiot in that midfield. He still racks up similar assists to Kevin De Bruyne. So I don't know, how do you think that really influences it? That's my question.
Honestly, I think that Kevin De Bruyne has been producing even before Haaland got there. We saw it before when he won Player of the Season, I think it was 2 seasons ago in the Premier League.
But even then, they still had an incredible system around him.
Still, though, he's been putting up these incredible assist and goal-scoring numbers, not only with the Man City team, but also turns it over and does it for the Belgium side, both at the Euros last time, and I think he'll do it again this World Cup.
So he has Erling Haaland at club level. Who does he have at international level? Romelu Lukaku? Please. Michy Batshuayi? Do better than that.
Oh, God.
Please, Connor.
Honestly, Sam, I think...
Divock Origi, Liverpool legend.
Listen, I think De Bruyne has the goals in him himself, honestly. If he doesn't see that target to pass to, he's going to let it rip from range and put it top bins, and no one can do anything about it.
Why doesn't he sell concessions while he's at it? Just do everything.
Then
All
he
right.
can do it all. Why
Might
not?
play keeper, too.
Vivian, you're up next. You have 3 to choose from.
All right.
Choose wisely. You can't unchoose.
Okay. I'm going to take this one.
Okay.
All right. I have gotten Kylian Mbappe.
Okay.
You know, I feel like he is, he's regarded as one of the best players in the world for a reason. He is, in my opinion, a complete player. He has the pace, he's able to finish super well, and not only that, but he's able to create plays. He's a playmaker, and I think that with, Karim Benzema up front, I think there's no reason why he should be able to. Yeah, I think he's going to win the Golden Ball trophy.
Can we talk about how his ego is bigger than his goal-scoring output, though? I mean, I don't trust the man right now. He's already trying to, he secured the bag at PSG. He's trying to force his way out now. What if things go wrong? Is he going to try and get his players sent out, too?
Is he going to sell his teammates?
Is he going to sell his teammates? He can't do that now.
I think it's different because he's playing for country. This is something
He
that
literally
means
just
something
had an image rights dispute with the Federation. I don't know about France being different.
Well, I just think the French, the French Federation, they've got some stuff going on behind the scenes. I support players over Federation always.
Now, let's play a little game of theoretical hypothetical. Right. Let's say that France draw a penalty, and Karim Benzema wants to take the penalty, but so does Kylian Mbappe. What do? That's a source of little friction in the French camp, and if Mbappe's not taking penalties, then he's not the alpha dog up front for France. Is he even the best player on that French forward line?
I think so. I think he is. Benzema, he's having a hot season. He just won the Ballon d'Or, but Mbappe has been voted, into the Champions League Team of the Season consecutively for the last couple of seasons, I think, like 3 years or so. So I think he has a very solid case to be best player.
Well, if you win Liga Uber Eats, you can win the World Cup, that's for sure. Ashley, you're up next. You only have 2 to choose from, so
Alrighty.
slim pickings here.
This is the
All
one.
right.
I got Pedri.
Pedri.
Pedri is going to win the Golden Ball because he is young and hungry, and he's just going to wiggle through, and he's going to score those goals. He's going to make those chances.
He doesn't exactly wiggle. That's not really his style of play. He's more of a, it's giving Jorginho winning Player of the Year a few years ago when Italy won the Euros. If you love, intentionally so. I do not think Jorginho deserved that award. But you're talking about Pedri, a player that just loves to do a little lateral pass to the right, then take it back, then do it to the left, then do it again. That's his play style. If we're talking about the best passer, maybe. But the best player in the World Cup, I'm not sold.
We'll see. He might have the team to support him.
Spain. Alvaro Morata leading the line. Like, he's going to be poaching those balls up to him. That's going to be, Qatar, beware. Spain is on the loose.
Yeah. He's coming. Little boy's coming for you.
All right, well, Nandan, you only have one to choose from.
I do only have one to choose from.
Let's see.
All right, and I have Thiago Silva, Chelsea cult hero.
A defender, Nandan.
Yes, I think there's a common saying that defense wins championships. I think defense wins World Cups, in my opinion. I think Thiago Silva, at 38 years old, he's still one of the best center backs in the world, which is astonishing to me. He's still a stalwart in that Chelsea team. He still captains the Brazil team. I think that alone, in this incredible Brazil team, if he, at 38 years old, is starting, I think that alone speaks volumes about his quality. I think if Thiago Silva is going to come up in this World Cup, I think he could be the first. I don't think any defenders actually won the World Cup Golden Ball, I believe.
The last time it happened was Fabio Cannavaro in 2006. Oh, the Ballon d'Or, not the Ballon d'Or.
Yeah, the Ballon d'Or. We're talking about World Cup Golden Ball. Best player.
Right.
So no one's done that. But I believe that Thiago Silva is in prime position to do that. I think if he can come up big you've seen with Chelsea, with his defensive abilities, his aerial presence, his leadership overall, I think if he can translate that, I think Brazil, he has a good shot.
Well, this isn't Burnley. This isn't West Ham. This is Argentina. This is Germany. This is Spain. Not to mention a defender. You're saying that if Brazil win the World Cup, it will not be because of Neymar or Vinicius or Richarlison, Spurs legend. It'll be because of Chelsea legend, 38-year-old dinosaur Thiago Silva.
I think so, because yes, it's one thing that you can be scoring the goals, but here's the thing: you can score as many goals if you want. If you concede more than you score, you lose the game. End of story. So who is going to be the one to stop the Messis? The Neymar, not the Neymar, he plays in the same team, but if you have, say, have a semifinal of Brazil and Argentina, who's going to stop Messi? I think it would be Thiago Silva, if anyone.
Well, keep dreaming, I guess. That was fantastic. I hope you all enjoyed that game of Manila Mayhem. We'll see if any of you are correct and who wins the Golden Ball. Now, we would be remiss to discuss the Qatar World Cup without acknowledging what took place behind the scenes for the hosts to be ready in time. Kyle, over to you. Denmark certainly caught notice, and they're sending a statement before the tournament has even kicked off.
That's right, Sam. Qatar has been under the microscope ever since they were awarded hosting rights 12 years ago. And the corruption that has taken place since won't be lost on the team camps when games are underway. During the World Cup by removing their kit sponsor from their shirts. The Qatari government has banned political messaging of any kind on kits. Therefore, the Danes plan on wearing muted kits without sponsors or words in protest of the tournament organizers. FIFA's internalized corruption has been at the forefront for the last 12 years, ever since Qatar was awarded hosting rights to this year's World Cup in 2010. Several human rights violations have allegedly taken place during Qatar's preparations for the World Cup at the expense of over 30,000 migrant workers. Qatar had to build 7 brand new stadiums ready for opening day, as well as a new airport, subway system, and over 100 hotels. The Guardian says over 6,500 workers have died since Qatar won its World Cup bid as a result of squalid living conditions and heavy labor in extreme heat. Workers have also been withheld wages and had passports taken to forced labor. This year's World Cup will be held in the winter for the very first time to accommodate scorching summer temperatures in Qatar, which can reach as high as 110 degrees Fahrenheit. Denmark's kit sponsor, Hummel, has called their alternate all-black kit the color of mourning, in remembrance for the lives lost in order for Qatar to host the tournament. In Denmark's last tournament appearance at Euro 2020, Captain Simon Kjær and his teammates saved Christian Eriksen's life after he collapsed to the ground from cardiac arrest during a match. Denmark's heroics and unlikely semi-final run captured the hearts of the footballing world last year, and their impact on the World Cup could be even more widespread. For the Box Score, I'm Kyle Bracco.
Thank you, Kyle, for taking that deep dive. Great story. Now, enough beating around the bush. Shall we pick our winners for the World Cup? In one sentence, give me your winner and why. Vivian, you're up first.
I'm going to go with the Netherlands.
Really?
Yes, yes, because they have a very balanced squad, and I feel like they've just caught on fire, gotten momentum at the right time.
Nandan.
I think Argentina is going to win the World Cup because Lionel Messi has his best supporting squad ever. The stars are aligned. He will fulfill Maradona's legacy.
All right, Ashley.
I'm going to go Denmark. I think that they're.
What?
I think that they have what it takes. They're going to sneak and they're going to really surprise people.
Wow.
Yep.
That would be a sneak. Kyle.
It's going to be Brazil. I think that they're the most complete team on the field. As long as they can keep the egos in check, it's their World Cup to lose.
Bold pick, Kyle. Connor.
I think Argentina are going to win the World Cup, Sam, because world football fans deserve a Lionel Messi World Cup to finish his international career.
How about a hat trick to end the show? Argentina will win the World Cup. It's written in the stars for them. It's going to happen. But that's all the time we have for you tonight. Thank you for joining us live on the Box Score Quest for the Cup. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at EIV Box Score. You can also follow me at the Sam DeCoste. And keep your eyes peeled for our next episode for some more red-hot analysis like this. Belgium will crash out in the group stage of this year's World Cup. This team is crashing and burning. I don't like what I'm seeing from this Belgian team. For Kyle Bracco, Ashley Osmecki, Nandan Nair, Vivian Nguyen, and Connor Donovan, I'm Sam DeCoste. Enjoy the football, and we'll see you next time. We're out.